What's up, everybody? It is me, Juliet here. Today, I want to talk to you about the thing that is holding you back in your business. And what's really cool about this topic specifically is I'm not going to give you like a one-size-fits-all, plug and play, everyone has this issue. What I'm going to do is teach you how you can find the specific issue in your business. This is something that pretty much everybody struggles with, is figuring out like what their problem is. One, and two, everybody, even if your business is flourishing, has something that's holding them back from kind of getting to the next level. And I'm going to help you guys figure out what that thing might be that's holding you back from the next level in this video today. So, let's begin with a little bit of a background, okay? In the last 8 months or so, my sole job outside of running a coaching course has been to go inside of companies. Well, actually for like 5 years now, but really for the last 8 months or so, we're talking big companies. Go inside of these like fairly large companies, and what's cool is that a lot of these companies, a lot of them are like influencers that you guys know. So these are people that you guys consider like marketing experts or sales experts or influencers that you see in the space have actually called me up and asked me to like look inside of their business and figure out like what their issue is, and or like why they're not getting to the next level. And so I've done this inside of gyms, I've done this inside of publication companies, I've done this inside of digital agencies, I've done this inside of coaching businesses, I've done this inside of like brick and mortar retail businesses as well. So I've done this process of figuring out what the thing is that's holding them back in a lot of different businesses. And there are some trends. Moreover, there's a specific system that you can use to very, 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 very quickly determine what's holding you back. Okay, from getting kind of to the next level, assuming that the next level is more financials or more financials, better financials. So obviously the very first thing that you need to do in this system, and I want you guys to get in a notepad and do this with me, is write down what is it that you want. So this might seem obvious, you guys, but like you would be shocked how many people forget to like write down what it is specifically that they want out of their business. Hannah, you're supposed to be at the gym, bitch. Anyways, Hannah actually just joined my mentorship, so welcome. With that, a lot of people forget to write down what do they want. So you might be like $60K a month, but you're only collecting $30K cash, and maybe you want to increase the amount of cash collected, or maybe you want to get to $100K cash per month. Or maybe you're like, I'm making good money, but I'm kind of like plateaued and I've been here for 6 or 7 months, but I make $5 million a year, so I'm not really going to complain. Maybe you want to like start to increase your monthly revenue because you've been in business for a while and you're watching this video. Or maybe you are dealing with some profitability issues. Like the more you scale up your ad spend, the lower the ROI gets, and so you're kind of fighting that, plus you're fighting overhead costs, and maybe your desire is to fix your profit margins. Whatever it is, I need you guys to start with a really solid idea of what it is that you want, all right? Because we can't figure out what's holding you back without first determining what it is that you want. So many people miss this step. I know this is gonna seem very elementary. Hello. But you guys absolutely need to do this step. The reason why is because I do this call with hundreds and hundreds of pretty big organizations, these gurus that are coming to me because they've heard about my organic success and so on. They're coming to me asking me for this information, you guys, and the thing is, the pattern is that they all want different things, right? So most people just ask like, how much do you want your business to be making per month? And that's not necessarily the question that you need to be asking. Sometimes it's like, what is it that you freaking want, period? It might be that you want more revenue. That might be it, but it might also be that you have cash flow issues. It might also be that you have a high turnover rate with your employees. It might be that you don't have enough time freedom, so on and so forth. Okay? Once you've determined what it is that you want out of your business, then the thing that you need to do next is take an assessment of all of the different things that you're doing. And I'm going to go based off the assumption that you guys want to make more revenue while increasing your profits at the same time, or at the very least, make more money without letting your profits dip further than they are right now. So then you need to take an account. I want you guys to write this down, because if you don't write it down, you're going to miss something. You're going to forget that you're doing something else. And write it down, everything that it is that you're doing inside of your business. So if it's like, I'm doing organic, and I'm doing paid ads, plus I'm doing Google, plus I'm doing YouTube, I want you to write all that stuff down. And I want you guys to write down the results that you're getting from those individual campaigns or strategies. For example, if you're like, I'm doing organic content, posting 4 or 5 times a week, then I also want you to write down how many calls per week you're getting from organic and how many sales per week you're getting from organic. Same thing with ads. If you're like, I run Facebook ads, I spend $100 a day and I book 1 call per day, write that down. Same thing with YouTube, Google, whatever else it is that you guys are running, okay? Make sure that you're correlating the results that you're getting from that specific strategy to your business. And a lot of people miss this because they're not tracking separate organic and paid. They're kind of just combining it all. They're like, I'm running paid ads and I'm doing organic, but all the calls come in and I can't tell if this is from organic or if this is from a paid ad call. And that's a big mistake, because you can't determine what you need to do to grow unless you first have a good idea of the results that you're already getting. You can't determine what it is that you need to fix if you don't know what's working and what's not working. So if you guys are watching this currently and you're like, I'm not tracking them separately, you need to start tracking them separately. How can you do that? Number one, if you're booking calls organically and they're coming in, like they're not scheduling manually, they are scheduled manually, like you don't have a link or anything, then you just need to create a tracker sheet with all the names that you manually scheduled through social media. So like if it's through DMs or whatever and you scheduled a call, you need to put them in a tracker sheet, so then at the end of the week you can say, hey, we booked 20 calls and cross-reference the names. 5 of them were from organic. If you do have a link that you're sending to people to, like if you're like, hey, watch this video, click the link below type of thing organically, that's totally fine. However, you want to create a separate funnel from your organic versus your paid, so that you can clearly see. And then that way, even on your scheduler, like our schedule ones, we have one that says strategy session organic, strategy session paid. That way, as the calls are coming in manually into our account or automatically into our calendar, we can look at it, and when we're doing our data, we can say this came from organic and this came from paid. And it's really important that you separate those 2 sets of results. And even if you can, separate it from platform to platform to platform. Why would you need to separate from platform to platform and strategy to strategy? Well, every platform has its own set of KPIs, as well as every strategy has its own set of KPIs. Meaning, paid ads, you might be like for example, one of my newest students, Hannah, I think she'd be cool if you be sharing this, she's running paid ads, she's also doing organic. And so when we were coming in, we were looking at it, I was like, okay, so how many of this is from paid and organic? And she didn't know. So then the ROI from her ads is very inflated, right? Because it's like, she's like all of the sales period versus the ad spend, and that's how she's calculating her ROI, which is not a big deal, except for the fact that it might be like it might say like she's getting like a 10x ROI. It doesn't, but let's say it did, right? We wouldn't know if that's because the ads are really that fucking great, or if it's because she's getting a massive amount of calls from organic. And it's this breakdown of being super, super specific with your data tracking, which will then allow you to look at everything that's going on inside of your business and be able to determine the next step. Ooh, this hair. Okay. So once you've done that, once you've done like a full account of all the strategies that you're doing and you started to separate the data points, moving from there, if you have a team, if you don't have a team, skip this step. If you have a team or people that are responsible for, meaning like employees, that are responsible for specific aspects of this, then I want you to start paying attention to your employees and their performance. So like, let's say, for example, you have an email campaign. That's one of your strategies. We do. I don't run my email campaign. Someone else on my team runs it. So if I'm at my email campaign and I have a set of KPIs that says that I should be able to book 20 to 30 calls per week for my email campaign, and I look at the data that I just wrote down because I'm doing the exercise, and it says, hey, I'm only booking like 10 calls. We're really on the low end. Then it would be like, well, hey, I'm not even writing these emails. That's not even my job. I think I need to go and evaluate the performance of this employee or the performance of this team member before determining what the issue is, right? Because is the issue that email strategy just doesn't work for you, or is the issue the team performance? So see how you're like breaking it down even more specifically, because there's a good chance that maybe the strategy is working, but the coach that you hired, the agency that you hired, or the team member that you hired just isn't performing that well. And so then it becomes, once you break it down from, this is everything that I'm doing, these are the KPIs, you're going to start to see some red flags, meaning some strategies that just aren't really hitting the KPI. From there, it's time to look at who's responsible for that KPI. And if it's you, you might have to take a hard look in the mirror and be like, I don't think I'm really qualified to run my own ads. And that might mean that you need to hire someone or go to an agency to do that for you. But you can start to really get super, 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 super finute. Is that the word that you would use? Finute? You let me know. In the data that you're getting. So then that way, once you've done all of those steps, you write down what it is that you want. Then you write down all of the strategies it is that you are currently executing to get what you want, meaning I want to grow my business, blah, blah, blah. And here's the strategies that I'm doing to get there, as well as the results those strategies are getting. And finally, the people that are responsible for those individual strategies. Then you have a big pot of data, and you can clearly start to look at it and say, hey, I think that something is wrong with your advertising strategy, and I think something is wrong with your advertising strategy because your team member just isn't up to par. You need to maybe get rid of them and hire someone else. Or maybe it's like, you are doing organic, right? But you're not booking a lot of calls. That's a red flag. Guys should be able to book 20 plus calls per week organically minimum, honestly. We do that and we don't even have a course that we're selling. I don't even know how people are booking calls with us because our schedule is like almost always full. And we've changed our offer several times over the last 6 months, so it's crazy that people are still booking calls with us. We still get 20 plus calls per week from organic. If you did that, and you're doing organic consistently and you're not getting results, then it's time to break that down. I'm going to use this as my final example. Then it's time to break that down even further and look at it and say, all right, I'm doing 3 Facebook Lives, and start looking at the engagement. How many views are those lives getting? Because your problem might not be your content sucks. It might just be purely an algorithm thing. Or let's say that you're getting a lot of views on your videos, but they're still not converting, in which case it's probably a content issue. Do you see what I mean? So you're going to start with the big list of strategies, and you're going to write them horizontally across your page. And then you're going to see the strategies that just aren't quite up to par, and you're going to start to analyze like what it is about those strategies that just aren't working. And then what you're going to do in your business is fix one of those problems at a time. Let's say like your organic strategy just isn't converting very well, and maybe, for Hannah, she's like, I think my organic could be better. I was like, why is that? She's like, well, I don't really do call to actions that often. Well, you can't make money if you're not asking people to do something, right? If you don't have any call to action. So for her, the first thing we might do for Hannah is maybe just incorporate some more call to actions and see if her results go up. From there, we might try different angles, different lighting, different background, different, totally different concepts that are really going to shake up her industry to make it, really pop and stand out to her market. So on and so forth. And this process seems, I almost am like, embarrassed to be doing a live video about this if I was the type to get embarrassed, because it almost seems so elementary. It almost seems like something that people should inherently know. It should be something that you're already doing. It should be something that everything I just said, right? And I think that a lot of people know this stuff. I think a lot of people know that they need finite data, that they need to organize and break things down, and that they need to get a full picture before making any decisions. I think people know that, but I don't think very many people are actively doing it. And honestly, I think people like the comfort of having an expert or a third-party objective view do it for them, which is why you end up booking a lot of consults, buying a lot of courses, investing into a lot of different services, investing into different coaches and so forth, is because I think that inherently people know this process, but they they like the security of an expert doing it for them or someone else doing it for them. However, if you're in a spot in your business where either you've invested into a lot of different things and you're just not getting an ROI, this might be a great resource for you, this video, so that you're able to do the assessment on your own versus having someone else do it, knowing that their only objective is to pitch you something or sell you something at the end. Or vice versa, like if you are in a position where maybe your business is just getting started, you can't really afford coaching or resources, which you always can, but let's play along and say that you can't afford it. This is a really great resource for you because you'll be able to analyze and self-assess as you go along, which is a really important skill to have, because sometimes even if you hire a coach, they're not always available 24/7. They're not always going to be able to answer all of the questions for you. And the best business owners that we know are the ones that are able to self-assess, self-diagnose as they go without always needing someone else. It's not shameful to need someone else. It's not bad, but it is really important that you have at least some ability to diagnose and course correct on your own without always needing someone there holding your hand. Otherwise, you're not really running your own business. You are basically like the face of it and someone else is running it for you at that stage. So this is a really important video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If anything, hopefully it's just a good wake-up call for you guys. If you haven't been tracking properly or haven't been getting the data properly, this is it. It's as simple as this. This is all I've been doing for the last like 5-6 years now, but especially for the last 8 months. For these big gurus, these names that I know that you would know if I were to drop them, people that I greatly respect, I know people that you greatly respect have asked me to come in and do this exact process. And I think it's my attention to detail and attention to data points that's allowed me to be so successful with helping my clients. I know a lot of you guys ask that, like, how do my clients go from, $1 million a year to Paul, who's probably going to clear 10 to 20 million this year, whereas before he was clearing 1 million per year. Now he's probably going to go to 10 or 20. That's insanely 10 or 20 cash, you guys. That's insanely crazy. And it's this attention to detail. It's this attention to data, paying attention to like the existing assets, not changing everything all at once, going at it strategically. What allows you to go at it strategically is by doing this process that I just outlined in this video, you guys. So like I said, this is it. This is the reason why my students have been, or my clients, I guess, so to now, because I don't really have any students anymore. This is the process that my most exciting clients have been through with me, that have allowed me to go inside their business, look at, do this diagnosis, and help them game plan and strategize about what needs to happen in what specific order in order to hit their goals. So hopefully this was useful. I am going to be doing a giveaway later this week. It's not like a free iPhone or anything like this, but it is going to be called something like the Golden Email Sequence, which is a sequence of emails that we've plugged into about 23 different industries, I think it is now, where we basically plug it in, you send it out to your email list, and it's known for just booking a shit ton of calls. You can adapt them if you're in e-commerce or you have like a product you want them to buy. You can adapt it to be, instead of book a call, to buy this product as well. But they're like really good at what they do. And if you use these emails and don't get results from them, then it's a great way to know that your email list is a dud. Because I had one guy who had only 1,200 people on his email list. We used this email sequence, the Golden Email Sequence. We used this email sequence and he booked 10 calls per day for like 3 weeks straight. Not even exaggerating, you guys. He booked a ton of calls from this Golden Email Sequence. And he only had 1,200 people on his list. So that's a very small list. Besides the point, I will be giving that away later this week. I'm telling you that because I want you guys to pay attention to my content coming out this next week so that you don't miss this opportunity to get this free resource called the Golden Email Sequence. I know that you guys will enjoy it. Anyways, you guys, I will see you in my next video. Bye.